Well, the United Arab Emirates was one of the first countries to come out with a public message of support for Syria's beleaguered President Assad. So why is the UAE such a staunch supporter of the regime in Damascus? Let's go to Dubai. We're joined by our correspondent Bastien Borie. So Bastien, first of all, why does the UAE have an interest in what's happening in Syria?
Well, let's say it's the umpteenth step in the return of Syria to the international scene as a result, actually, of efforts from the Gulf itself. It began in 2018 when the UAE reopened its embassy in Damascus. Bashar al-Assad had paid in return in 2022 his first visit to an Arab country since the beginning of the Syrian war. Then there was this earthquake in 2023, tragic event for the populations, but also an opportunity that the Assad regime took to draw attention as well as humanitarian aid, especially from countries of the Arab League, like the UAE, who had excluded Syria a few years earlier. That said, Syria is no longer considered a priority for the UAE. Adjusting to the challenges of the wars in Gaza and Ukraine has become the main task for the Gulf countries, who do not consider the spread of armed groups and terrorism in Syria, in addition to the increasing influence of Iran there, as a major threat anymore.
So why have the Emiratis come out in support of Assad, and what about the Saudis? Are they pretty much of the same mind?
Well, today the Emiratis want some sort of political and economic unity around Syria. First, by getting closer to Russia and Turkey, whose foothold, as you know, there has increased considerably, notably since their military operations in northern Syria. And second, by betting on the fact, that Syria is a large market with economic opportunities thanks to its strategic position between the East and the West. And all this is also beneficial for Syria itself because it acknowledges the sort of comeback of the Assad government into regional and international politics. And as a matter of fact, the Americans know they are powerless in the face of these new dynamics from which they have disengaged themselves. So knowing that they will not be targeted by American sanctions, the Emiratis are pretty much hands-free. And the Saudis also want to weaken the Iranian influence in Syria, which is known to be considerable. So Riyadh and other Arab countries are going to put forward tens of billions of dollars for Damascus in the coming months and years for the reconstruction of Syria, its developments, the reopening of its economy, its tourism, etc. However, Riyadh's expectations for reforms in Syria and for some sort of reduction of Tehran's influence there are perhaps too ambitious, because Saudi Arabia's leverage on Syria, outside of money, remains pretty minimal.